Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to put a little mini flow together. We're going to incorporate what we've learned up to this point. So I am going to have my blocks with me just in case I might need them to help me in my lunges and possibly in my forward folds. But get whatever props that you need and find yourself on the mat. I am going to start in a sit position, but I do encourage you to find any position that's going to help you relax your body. Be that a sit position, whether that's in Shavasana, you choose. We'll take a few seconds here just to decide. And as you make your way either into your sit or your lying down Shavasana pose, we are going to start checking in with your breath. You want to see what mood, what type of breath, what type of sensations you are coming to the mat at this moment. So I am going to assume most of you are coming down into Shavasana. So as you settle onto your back, make sure that the legs are comfortable and relaxed, possibly a little wider than your hip bone distance. Allow your feet to relax. Allow your legs to relax. Allow your glutes to relax. Soften in your belly to allow the breath to freely come in and out. Soften your shoulder blades down towards the floor. And to help rotate your shoulders open, take your arms out a little wider and turn your palms up towards the sky. Soften the shoulders down towards the floor. As you open the collarbone, again, allowing the breath to freely move. Make sure that your neck is relaxed, so your chin isn't too tucked in, or your nose isn't too high towards the sky. And then I do invite you to close your eyes, to take away that distraction, so that we can listen in a little bit more to our breath. And as you're breathing, just take note. How does the inhale feel? How does the exhale feel? And there's no hard and fast correct answer here. You're just taking an inventory of how you feel right now as you start your practice. And as you start to take notice of your breath, you might notice that it seems a little short. You might notice that your inhale isn't as full as it possibly could be. Perhaps as you settle your body into the floor, perhaps your breath also settles in. And maybe it starts to slow down. Don't force it. Just allow it naturally to slow down on its own. So being mindful of your breath, trying not to allow the distractions around you, the distractions in your life, the distractions in your mind, trying not to let them interfere with right now. Just focus in on the breath. That inhale in through the nose and your exhale. And as you continue breathing, see if you can soften something somewhere in your body. Whether it's softening the breath, whether it's softening the shoulders, softening the hands, perhaps softening your glutes, your leg muscles, your feet. Just try to soften something. And as you breathe, just feel that rise and fall. Your breath in raises the front side of your body, and your breath out sinks you down. Whether in a sit position or a lying position, the feeling is still the same. Expansion on the inhale, and the exhale drawing in and down, heavy. Inhale, think lightness. Exhale, a little bit more heavy. One more full breath here. An inhale. And exhale. And then invite the movement. Start with your fingers and toes. Give them a little wiggle jiggle. And if you are in your sit position, bring yourself down to a lying position. Bring yourself down to the floor. And then if your legs are already long, bend at the knees, bring your feet to the floor, and just notice the difference on that sacrum, on that low back into the floor. And you might even notice a little sway of the knees side to side as you rock from one side of the sacrum to the other. Notice how it feels in one hip towards the other. And then gently draw one knee in, and then the opposite knee in, gently holding the knees here. Start to sway again, the knees side to side, but now your feet are up off the floor. Notice how you rock from one side to the other. Notice the heaviness on the outside of the hip. And again, this should not hurt. For me, this is very, very comfortable. I do this a lot. I find this very relaxing on my back. And I find I create a little bit of space here. But if the rocking side to side is uncomfortable for you, you can simply gently draw the knees in towards your chest and just feel how that is on your back. And we're gently going to make our way up into a sit position. I'm going to take my left hand up over my head. I'm going to drop my left knees all the way down to the side, come completely up onto one side. I'm using my bottom arm like a little bit of a pillow, and my top arm can help me push myself up into a sit position. And I'm just going to swing my feet around so I can get into tabletop. So depending on where you are on your mat, you might notice that you might need to reposition yourself. Again, I'm going to have my blocks handy. From your tabletop position, root your fingers. Find that angle that works best for you. Make sure those wrists are comfortable. Wrap the triceps in. Knees are underneath your hips. From tabletop, just slightly draw that belly button up. And then take that inhale and drop the belly down towards the floor. Lift the gaze slightly so that you're in your cow position. With your exhale, tuck the tail down under first, roll through your back, mid-back, upper back, drop the head, cat position. Inhale, tail moves first as you drop the belly, keep the belly engaged. Open up the collarbones as you look forward, not up. And then as you exhale, tuck the tail, round your back, chin towards your chest. Keep rolling those elbow creases forward into cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale, cat. Taking your time here. Try not to rush through these. They seem like such a simple little movement, but it's important. It preps your spine. So in your yoga practice, we really do want to slow things down. We already live in a society that's rushing around like crazy. We don't need to rush through our practice. We want our body to open up gently, slowly. One more cycle through your cat and cow. Taking your time. And then as we come to neutral position, notice if you need to readjust. Do you need to maybe take the weight out of your hands so that you can reposition again? Maybe your wrists need a little bit of a break. And from our tabletop position, tuck the toes under, and we're just going to try to hover those knees. Again, first starting with wrapping those elbow creases forward. Take that inhale to brace through your belly, and as you exhale, lift the knees, maybe 2 or 3 inches. Watch that you don't sag into those turtlenecks. Push the floor away. See if you can breathe here for 3 full breaths. Take a break by dropping your knees if you have to, but see if we can do it for another full 2 cycles. A full inhale, an exhale, an inhale, an exhale. Can you do one more? Let's try an inhale, exhale, soften the knees, unhook the toes, and just sit back for a quick little child's pose so that you take the weight out of the wrists, give them a little breather, and allow your breath to come back to a more neutral flow. Because that simple task of trying to lift your knees up off the floor may have already changed your breath. One more cycle of breath here. Again, you can take longer in your child's pose. You can take longer in your break if you need to. I'm going to set myself back up into tabletop. Get my hands. Grip the mat. Take an inhale here. Brace through the abdomen. And then now with your exhale, lift your tail up into your first downward facing dog. Again, shoulders behind the wrists, lengthening the spine first, and then seeing if you have any space in your hamstrings. My first down dog is usually not my best one, so I'm going to have a generous bend in the knee. Readjust the feet if you have to. And we're going to flow back to our tabletop with an inhale. Come back to your tabletop. That's your inhale. And as you exhale, lift the tail back up into your down dog. Inhale, come forward, tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Once more like that. Inhale, forward to your tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold your down dog. Maybe move a little bit here in your downward facing dog. You're not planted in cement. Push those shoulders away from your ears. Notice if it's already different from your first downward facing dog. Finish your exhale. And with your inhale, start to baby step those feet forward. We're going to take our first one really easy. We're trying to come into our forward fold. So as I baby step my feet forward, I come to where I'm going to stop, and that's my exhale. Inhale, up to your flat back. Exhale, fold. Once more, inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale to a standing position. I'm going to come up right away with my arms. They're going to reach up over my head. Palms meet, down through heart center, into mountain pose. Readjust your feet if you have to. Second toes facing forward. Hips as level as you possibly can. Shoulders over the hips as best as you can. From mountain pose, inhale, arms scoop up towards the sky. And as you exhale, dive forward into your forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Hands come to the floor. If you can, palms flat. Step one foot back and then the other to your downward facing dog. Readjust if that step back wasn't quite where you need it to be. Hold in your down dog. 2 full cycles of breath. Maybe a little bit of movement is needed. Maybe you need to take a break in tabletop. Maybe you need child's pose. If you're in child's pose, make your way back into downward facing dog. Finish your exhale. And with your inhale, lift that right leg up towards the sky. Try to keep those hips parallel. Have a little sneak look back at your toes. Try to make sure that all of the toes are facing downward. I'm going to try to step my foot forward. So as I lean forward, draw the knee into the chest, step that foot forward, readjust it if it needs. There's my lunge position. Inhale to lift the torso, crescent lunge. Hold in your crescent lunge. Soften. See if you can extend that back leg a little longer. Try to stack your shoulders over your hips. Try to reach those arms a little bit further back so that the ears line up with your biceps. Take a breath in here, and then as you exhale, dive forward. The hands will frame the front foot. You're going to step that front foot back to your downward facing dog once again. Make the adjustments that you need. Take the break if you need. Listen to your breath. Your breath will tell you what you need. A full cycle here. And then we're going to try the same thing on the other side. Lifting the left leg with the inhale. Again, sneak a peek. Notice if those toes are flaring out to the side or in towards the center. Keep the toes down. And as you exhale, come forward and try to step it forward. If it doesn't make it, help it along. Make sure that front knee is over your ankle. And with your inhale, once again, lift the torso, lift the arms, high crescent lunge. Know your options. Try to stack your body up. Try to extend that back leg. Keep breathing. Deep inhale. And an exhale. Inhale, open up the front side of the body, and as you exhale, dive forward. Hands meet the floor. Step back to your downward facing dog. Readjust the feet. This time, inhale forward to your plank. Is it going to be a full plank or a half plank? Inhale, open up the collarbone. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more time, let's try that. Inhale, come forward to your plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Come forward to tabletop. Unhook the back toes and sit back into your child's pose. And as you rest here in your child's pose, take note of your breath. Has it become choppy? Is it hard for you to breathe? This is where we're taking a break, relaxing the breath. Take a very short break here. Come back into tabletop. Root your hands. Tuck the toes under. Take an inhale to drive the triceps towards your belly. Elbow creases forward. And then exhale into your downward facing dog once again. We're going to try that one more time. Inhale, right leg up to the sky. And as you exhale, try to step it forward. See if you need to adjust those train tracks. Inhale up to your crescent lunge. Exhale, fold back forward. Hands frame the front foot. Step back to your downward facing dog. Inhale to your plank. Exhale back to down dog. Inhale, left foot up towards the sky. Exhale, bring it forward into your lunge. Help it if you need. Inhale, up to your crescent lunge. Try to be nice and sturdy. Exhale, fold back forward, hands to the floor. Step back to your downward facing dog. Inhale forward to your plank. Exhale back into your downward facing dog. Now see if you can stay in downward facing dog for a few breaths. If you really cannot hold down dog, drop down to your knees into tabletop. Maybe even drop back down into child's pose. But see if you can catch your breath in down dog. Explore the idea of exerting a little bit of effort in down dog, but still being able to breathe. If the answer is no, then simply drop the knees down. Maybe take a child's pose. Eventually, you will notice that you can catch your breath in downward facing dog. Come back into downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg to lift. Exhale, step it forward into your lunge position. Inhale to lift the torso, reach the arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, open up into Warrior Two. Check if you need to readjust the legs. Soften the shoulders. Stack the shoulders over the hips. Take the gaze to the front hand. See if the arms are level. Soften the shoulders. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, windmill the hands, lift the back heel, step back into your downward facing dog. Take a few cycles of breath here. Can you stay in down dog, or do you need to make another adjustment? Soften the shoulders, lengthen the spine. From down dog, inhale the left leg up to the sky. Use your exhale to step it forward. If it doesn't make it into your lunge position, help it along. Inhale, lift the torso, reach the arms up towards the sky. And as you exhale, open up into warrior two. Check the leg position. Check the front lunge position. Try to level out the arms. Notice if you need any adjusting. Inhale here, and as you exhale, windmill the hands back down to the floor, lift the back heel, step back into your downward facing dog. Adjust if you need. Inhale forward to your plank or half plank, but see if you can hold your full plank. How many breaths can you take here? I think you can do it. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Keep breathing. Take an inhale and exhale. Drop the knees down to the floor, sit back into your child's pose, and rest. Let go of the work effort. Don't worry if your breath has sped up. That's okay, that's pretty normal. Catch your breath here. Try to slow it down, soften it, bring it back to normal. Listen to your heart. It's probably beating, and that's a good thing. Don't worry if it wasn't perfect. If you're in child's pose, you might even notice that wiggling side to side gets into those hip creases. Rest your head. Anything that you need to catch your breath. Let go of your work effort. Lift the torso. If the knees are wide, bring them back together and swing your feet around to come to a sit position. Depending on where you are on your mat, you might need to adjust a little bit. I always need to make a little adjustment. I'm going to come forward. Just notice I have my blocks here. I didn't actually need them today. I'll just move them off to the side. And as I'm making my way down back to the mat, I might notice that I have a little bit of effort still left. I can engage my belly muscles and slowly lower down to the back. And as I get to the floor, notice if I need any movement, a little sway side to side with the knees, maybe tucking the knees into the chest with a little bit of movement side to side. Maybe you prefer the feet on the floor. What is going to work best for you? I like swaying the knees side to side. Sometimes tucking the knees up into the chest lets you feel that low back, those glute muscles. Maybe you just want to relax with the feet on the floor, knees bent up to the sky. And slowly extend the legs and make your way into Shavasana. Relax the entire body. Soften the legs, the hips, the chest. Soften the shoulders. Extend the arms, palms up to the sky. Make sure the neck is nice and neutral. And as you settle into your Shavasana, I invite you to close your eyes so that the distractions are not there. Let's take a few cycles of breath here, and let's see how it feels. Taking that deep inhale and letting go in the exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. Continue breathing here in your Shavasana. Without moving the body just yet, on your next inhale, sip in a little bit more air and then release it in your exhale. Notice what you notice. Slowly start to wake up the body. Wiggle the fingers and toes. Notice what that little bit of movement does to your body. How does it feel to get into the wrists and ankles? Notice if you feel the same as when we first started, or if you feel a little bit different. If the legs are long, bring the feet to the floor. Extend that left arm up overhead. Drop the knees all the way down to that side. Push yourself up into a sit position. We won't be here for too long. Come to a cross-legged position. Come forward onto those sit bones. See if the knees can come a little bit closer to the floor. Don't worry if they're not there. Lengthen out that spine. Try to sit as vertical as you can. Try to get out of that curved spine. Sit nice and tall. Your hands can be in your lap, on your knees, or if you prefer, hands come to heart center, palms pressing into each other. Bring the thumbs into the heart center. And you can open up the chest a little bit as you press those thumbs into your chest. You might even notice the heart beating. You can lift the torso. Feel that chest opening. You can feel the heart beating. Take one more breath here. A deep inhale. Release in your exhale. We'll finish our practice here, honoring the light within. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I hope you feel a little bit better. Remember to keep moving. Get rid of that stagnant feeling. Any movement that we do is good, whether it's a little bit of movement or a lot of movement, whether you exerted a lot of energy or a little bit of energy. It's all good for our bodies. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.